Kendra again. And it's another Wednesday in my series 31 Projects in 31 Days, which means we are doing winter prep because winter is coming whether we want it to or not. So today's area that I'm going to tackle is this disaster right here. That's my pantry. We cook just about everything we eat from scratch, primarily from food that we have canned, and also our freezers full of frozen meat and such. So today's task is to inventory all the food and make myself a master list. So here is what this freezer looks like. This is my stand-up freezer, and it is all full of beef. And then these containers down here, these ice cream buckets, are full of peaches that we have cut up and frozen. There's also some bags in here of cucumber cubes that we use for smoothies and the like. There's some peppers and things on the door. A little bit of random stuff along the side, some nuts, things of that nature. Then we have a stand-up fridge, which is just a fridge. Then over here we have my chest freezer. So in our chest freezer, this is where all of our pig is, so it's all pork. It is actually organized. It is kind of difficult to tell, but everything in the green bin is ground pork. There's bacon and sausage underneath. Then we have like pork steak in the middle and pork chops, and then we have ham steak over here. So I need to go through and make an organized list of meat. Then I'll take you down to my basement and show you what we got going on down there. Welcome to my basement. It's dark and dank and all the things that a basement should be, right? And as I was walking down, it was striking me that this is hilarious. We live in a house that was originally my grandmother, well, it was originally my great-grandparents, but then my grandmother lived here her entire life. And my dad was born and raised here as well. So when we would come back to visit, my mom and I always wanted to come in the basement and, like, look around, and my grandma would always get mad. She'd be like, "What do you want in the basement? There's nothing down in the basement you need. No one goes in the basement." So we used to sneak down here whenever we came for a visit from California. She would, like, leave to run an errand or something, and we'd all sneak down in the basement just to look around. And, I mean, there really wasn't anything remotely even this interesting then. There was, like, literally nothing, just dirt floor. But now, I actually use the basement, and now I'm posting it on the internet, which is just kind of hilarious, because my grandma would so not have seen, number one, posting things on the internet is a thing, and number two, would never have thought that, my basement would be worth showing. But, whether it is or isn't, here it is. So, these are the stairs, and there is my cat who needs to stay up there. Anyways, these are the stairs. And then you walk down here, and over here you have, like, our heater and all that good stuff, and the water softener where we store old paint. And there is a bunch of my empty jars that have not been used. That blue tub over there is the one I've been talking about that's full of beads. Steve put it up there because I can't lift it myself. There's more jars and things, but the part that is most useful and interesting is this part right here. In the middle, we have a bunch of wooden pallets. And on top of them are cardboard boxes with my entire collection of canned food for the year. There's some that are empty over here too that need to get moved so I can do my inventory. But this is what we live off of all winter, is all those jars. It used to be a lot muddier down here when they were doing the construction work on our heater and stuff. They put this plastic tarping down over the floor because they didn't want to walk in all the mud, and we just haven't brought it up yet. I think that it might drain a little better if we pick it up. We just haven't gotten to that point yet because it keeps being wet. It needs to dry a little before we can pick it up. So now I'm going to go through and see what I have so that I can make myself a list. About 10 o'clock and my project is finally complete. Here, boom, that's what I ended up with. It is I'm calling my pantry list. The way I came up with the list is I actually took my video camera downstairs and I walked around and I looked in every box and I counted what I had. So like diced tomatoes, I counted how many I had. And I just said to myself on camera, diced tomatoes, X number of quarts. Magda with tomatoes, X number of quarts. So I just made myself a list. But I did it on my camera instead of trying to write it down. because I found that this is an incredibly time-consuming task when I'm just constantly going back and forth trying to write things down. I've even tried doing it with somebody else before, and it's just time-consuming. So instead, I then sat down with my camera at my computer, and Word was open, and I just kind of typed a really quick list of everything that I said on camera. And then I started typing those things out. So, for instance, on the first page, diced tomatoes. And I have them in quart jars. There's a capital Q. I also have some things in pint jars. So there's a P. And half pints, which right here, relish, half pint. So what I did was I went and I made one line item for every single jar of food that is in my basement. And that ended up taking up these first 6 pages of my list. And I did them kind of in order, like all of the vegetable things are together, all of the fruit things are together, all of the like cooking marinade kind of things are together. Then these 2 green sheets are a listing of all of the packages of meat I have in my freezer. So like I have a sirloin tip roast. I have 60-some packages of ground beef, each 1.5 pounds. I have a bunch of soup bones, and then I have all my beef things, and then I have my pork. So I have a bunch of bacon, I have pork chops, I have spare ribs. So each of these line items in the name represents a package of food. So the way I'm going to work this is I'm going to hang this up here on the wall next to my pantry, so that I can just easily access it whenever I pull a jar out to make a meal. I'm just going to check it off. Same thing with when I get meat out to defrost. Now the other thing is with the jars, I obviously don't store everything up here. A bunch of it's down in the basement. So on these sheets, hello cobweb. So on these sheets, what I'm going to do is when I bring something upstairs and move it from my basement stock to my actual pantry, I'm going to highlight it on the list. And then when I take it out of the pantry, I will cross off the highlighted item so that I will always know what is actually up here and what I might need to go get or send somebody to get me to make a meal. So I'm hoping this is the first step in some meal planning, and also it just was nice for me to see how much food there actually is. It kind of has me both thinking, oh no, there might not be enough to make it through, and wow, we've got a lot of stuff. It also put into perspective some of the things that I need to be using more that I have made. And obviously, there will be more added to the list. So I will just keep adding as more canning and such happens. But that was my project for today, and it did help me feel a little bit more prepared for the winter. So do something at your house that will get you more prepared for the winter, because whether we like it or not, it's coming, and it's coming faster and faster. So if you would like to see any of the other projects in my series, you can check out the playlist on my channel or go ahead and subscribe down below, and I'll pop up in your feed every day and you can see what I do with some of these pantry items in my daily vlogs. See you tomorrow. Bye!